Several of you have obviously been waiting for me to pitch this, and then there's probably many more of you that didn't even know I was getting this. So for those of you who've been waiting, finally it's here. And for those of you who thought or are thinking, what the hell has he gone and got now? This is the Mountain Laurel Designs cricket tent. Well, it's the tarp, to be honest. It's only the tent when you put the inner in. And I have the inner, and I'll try and do that shortly. I'm just keeping an eye on this weather, because we've already got... I've had to put Bess's coat on, because it hammered it down earlier on. So I've just got to keep half an eye on Bess and the weather and everything else. So this is the cricket tarp, and as I say, Ron calls it the cricket tent when the inner is put in, although strictly speaking it's still a tarp because the outer is a tarp. I'll just show you around it first. I've pitched it, this is the first time I've ever pitched it, to be honest, but I think first up I've done a pretty reasonable job on this. Maybe not 100% perfect, but not bad. I've just used the small pegs on this, but you're probably going to need the bigger ones. I just grabbed those at the last minute almost. I've set the pacer poles up the same way as in one of the photographs I've seen on Ron's website, with the angles coming down into a V this way, and that then gives you quite a bit of interior space. You probably could pitch this a little bit lower. In fact, I'm sure you could pitch this lower just by making the poles shorter, and that would make the whole thing nearer to the ground. This corner here is already quite close to the ground anyway, so you're probably not going to get it much closer to the ground. And this corner here, of course, is quite close to the ground, and it's just the back panel, because I've brought one line out, as Ron suggests on his website, with one line coming down here to one peg down there, and by pulling that far out, that raises the back a little bit. But then you want a little bit of ventilation, but you could always pitch that lower to the ground anyway if you wanted. I managed to remember, thankfully, the ground sheet that Ron made for me. I think it was last year, or I think it was late last year, and then I've just tied it out with a bungee cord to the corners, or to the guy lines, combination of both, to be honest. It probably needs to go back just a fraction, but that's a work in progress. It just gives you a rough idea for now. But ideally, this corner here I think is probably okay. That's quite close to the corner over there. But this one here, I probably just need to make that bungee cord a little bit longer, and that one a little bit shorter, just to get that back a little. Although in all honesty, rather than making that longer and that shorter, is to take that one off and put it here, and take that one off and put it over there. Would probably do the same thing in all honesty. But as I say, that's the ground sheet. And of course, if you had this, if you were out in a severe storm, then I would suggest that you would want this pole to be straighter. I'm not sure you'd want a lot of exertion and wind pressing on an angled pole. That I don't know. so I'm not sure. But in strong wind, I would suggest you would want that pole angled. I brought these alloy pacer poles because I was reading the Colin Ibbotson review, which is an excellent review, and in his review I think he mentions that poles of 130 centimetres minimum, so the inner pole there, that I measured before coming out, is 135. So for that angle, that steep angle, then you need 135 centimetres. But obviously if we were going to straighten the pole up a little bit, then that's going to be too long, so you know we would need to make that a little bit shorter. So I'm pretty sure 135 is plenty anyway. And then obviously with poles like this you can adjust them up and down. Right, well, as you can probably hear, it's raining. I must admit, any other day that I'd have been out walking like this and thinking about doing a pitching video, I'd not have done the video today because I knew the weather wasn't going to be very good, and I must admit I prefer to do this when it's no rain around at all, and preferably not too windy, although there's very little wind, apart from when I have the baked beans, of course. But I know that so many people have been waiting to see this, so I thought, well, I'll just sort of whip it out as quickly as I can and just see what we can do. So it might just be interior shooting now. We'll see what this rain does. It might blow away, or it might get worse and just hammer it down. Now, as I say, now we've got a bit of sun coming out now. Sun and rain, everything. Now, I've put the inner up, which I have to say went up well. Oh, I say, there's one thing. This is a new thing from Ron. I don't remember seeing this in an inner before. Ron's put a small mesh pocket down there. So that's a new thing. That's not in the solo internet. Not that I've noticed, anyway. I think I would have seen that. Of course, another thing to just bear in mind when you order the inner that comes with the Cricket, your door will be here on this side, because I sleep on my right. Well, I turn around, of course, but I get in and out on my right, and when I'm cooking and eating and reading and all that, I lie on my right hand side, so I need my door this side. So that's why I'm squiffy to everyone else. So everyone else, your door will be over here unless you specifically ask Ron to switch doors, which he seems to happily do. Certainly for me anyway, so I'm sure he would do it for other people. For the internet, you possibly would want the inner, or sorry, the fly to be a fraction taller. It's a pretty good, I mean, this is more than adequate, to be honest. I'm quite, considering I literally just put it in. I left the old I've left the old ground sheet down, this one here, just because it was there, and I thought, well, I can't be bothered to pick it up as much as anything else. And then I've just attached the ends to the bungee cord I've already have laid out on that. And I've brought everything underneath with me, so again, here you can just see that I've just attached it there. And that's a pretty good length on that one, and then again on that one back there. So it actually gives me a rough idea at home what lengths to cut the cord or the bungee cord to, because my lengths are pretty accurate actually. And of course this will, it's not waterproof, but it will certainly stop splashes and things like that from reaching you. So that's a good thing. Again, ideally I'd want to be a little bit further back. Looking here, there's, you know, so much room behind that cord back there just wants to be a little bit shorter. There's a clip here, so ideally you would want a bit of cord or bungee cord to go between this and then the one that's attached back there, and then that would just pull that back a bit. So that would be easy enough to do. There's clips here, so again you could get some bungee cord and clip that up there. That wouldn't need to be very long at all. Oh, I think Bess is looking a bit wet and bedraggled. Bess, make the most of it, old girl. Right, what I've done, just in these few seconds, I've just, what I'll do is, I will put some bungee cord here, but really you don't need much by the looks of it, because that clip is attached to that, and there's no real stretch on it at all. Oh, Bess, thank you. This one I've attached straight to the back, and again that seems, you know, it's not pulling anything. You get one mutton hook on a long bit of cord, which is a bit caught up around the top of the pacer pole that hangs down. You also get another mutton hook that's attached right to the top. So you get two mutton hooks up there, and I've attached this to the uppermost one. And then I've also attached here, and again that's not really pulling much, if at all, just a fraction but not a lot. So when I get back I might just leave the inner attached. That's thunder. I'm going to leave the inner attached, so when I get back home I can just cut a few small pieces of bungee cord for these and put little loops in them so I can adjust it. Looks like there's plenty of room in here anyway. Hello. So I think I will call it a day there before any more rain hammers it down, which I think it's possible it will do. We'll see. I've just spotted there's another clip down here, so with bungee cord that would hook up to that clip there. So that's a sort of a comprehensively brief, although by the time I've edited it it'll probably be anything but brief, overview of the Cricket tarp tent.